Okay, this lesson is from 8.4 in your book. Part A, meaning I'm not going to teach the whole lesson today. I'm going to focus on finding the volume of rectangular prisms. So our formula for that is length times width times height. So that's written out here. Remember, when those variables are shoved together like that, that means multiply. So let's look at number 1. So I'm going to write down our length, width, and height for us. So 9 times 7 times 10. Remember, with multiplication, it's commutative property, so we can multiply in any order. So if you had written those numbers down in a different order, that would be fine. So 9 times 7 is 63, times 10 would be 630. And since we're talking about volume, that's cubic units. So in this case, cubic inches. So 630 cubic inches. Okay, example 2. So we've got our formula here again, length times width times height. So again, I'm just going to write down those. If you don't already have your calculator, you might want to pause the video and go grab that. So you're multiplying those, and that should give you 702 centimeters cubed. Okay, problem 3. This time it has fractions. So I'm still going to multiply the 3 together. You're not going to turn these into decimals. You're going to keep them in fraction form. Your practice problems today, you'll have fractional answers. So I can multiply all 3 fractions together at the same time. When we're multiplying fractions, remember, we multiply all the numerators together and then we multiply all the denominators together. We can simplify before we multiply. Remember, when we simplify, you're finding a common factor of a numerator and a denominator. So for example, on this one, the 2 and an 8, I'm going to divide by 2. So I'm going to divide the 2 by 2, which is 1. And it would not matter which 8 I choose here, but I'm just going to choose one of them. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then I'm going to take this 3 and divide it by 3. And again, it would not matter which one of those numerators I use. So I'm going to divide that one by 3, and now that's 1. I'm going to multiply what I have left. So I have 1 times 3 for the numerator. For the denominator, I have 1 times 4 times 8. So that would be 32. Then inches cubed. Okay, one more example. So again, multiplying length times width times height. Okay, glance through those and see if you see any that share a common factor. Remember, it needs to be one numerator and one denominator. So the 3 and 9 share a common factor of 3, so I'm going to divide those both by 3. I cannot simplify the 2 5s because they're both denominators. So I'm going to multiply what I have left. So in the numerator, 1 times 8 would be 8. In the denominators, 5 times 5 is 25, times 3 would be 75, and then centimeters cubed. One thing to remember when you start your practice problems today, some of the first problems are just, they look like a bunch of cubes on the inside, and it doesn't tell you the dimensions, so you can just count the length, width, and height, and then multiply them. So remember, you can use a calculator, and if you want more examples from your book, it's chapter 8, lesson 8. Remember, I'm splitting this lesson into 2 parts, so this part will just be on rectangular prisms.